Hello and happy Tuesday, you guys. Sarah here, and I'm so glad to be here. And I'm so glad that you are too, as always. All right, so on my heart to share with you today is putting your money where you desire, right? How many of you spend money on what you truly desire to be spending your money on? It really got me thinking. We're here at the holidays, so of course there's like an elevation in how much money is being circulated, one. Two, just naturally in conversation with a lot of people who are feeling uncertain or have questions about how to be investing, how to be spending, where to be putting their money. And also work with my own clients and with potential clients who are always questioning, or I shouldn't say always, but who have questions, right? And are feeling like they have to really stop and think, like, can I really afford to invest in coaching? Naturally is where I hear it the most, but it happens everywhere. So I just wanted to talk about it as a general topic, and then I'll talk about investing as far as coaching at the end. So when you're thinking about where you put your money, right? I typically, for years and years and years, forever, would have just referred to it as spending money, similar to how I think about how I spend my time, spend my energy, without really even thinking about it. And one of the references that I go back to is the parable of the three talents. For those of you that are familiar with the New Testament, it's a very well-known parable, which I want to talk about a little bit here. So just for context, I've heard that parable like 1,000 times, and it never really made sense to me consciously until just a couple of years ago. So typically, like I said, I would have thought about the way that I'm spending my money or spending my time or my energy from just this concept of spending. And when I think of spending, I think of money going out. When you think of using your money, how do you think about it? Do you think about it as spending? Do you think about it as giving? Do you think about it as circulating? Do you think about it as investing? Let me know. I would be very curious. And if you haven't really thought about it, think about it right now. How do I think about moving my money around? Do I think about purchasing things from the aspect of spending my money or investing my money? Because here's the thing, when we think about spending money, we think about it, I think you probably think about it as money is going out, right? You have bills to pay, or you have an expense that comes up. I'm trying to think of some things that I just spent money on, where it's like the thought is, oh, this money is just going out there because I have to like cover, the rent or the mortgage, and I have to buy groceries. And you just think about it as the money is going out. When I shifted to using the word invest, it has a whole different connotation to it. And so it has definitely that the money is going out, but it also has within it the essence that the money is being returned, right? And if it's not the money specifically, tangibly, it's like there's a return coming to me. So as I've been super more conscious about how I invest my money and where my money goes, equally as much as I am about my time and where my time goes, as well as my energy, more than I've ever been in my entire life. Definitely in combination, owning my own business, and then also having just my new liberation, my liberated life as I call it, it has allowed me to be the most conscious that I've ever been of how I spend, period, what I do with myself. So when I think about now investing, like circulating my money, even something like going to the grocery store, and I'm so much more conscientious about what I'm eating and what foods I'm taking into my body, and asking myself the question, right? Like, how am I going to feel tomorrow when I wake up after eating this meal or having this drink or, eating this particular food item? And even when I'm in the store, if I get caught and I'm like wanting something that's not on my grocery list, I will think to myself, how will this food make me feel? Right? Like, will I feel really nourished and energized after taking this in? So because I'm thinking about things at that conscious level, I now have the awareness that when I'm then spending, right, when I'm then paying the person at the grocery line, I'm really making an investment. And I'm making an investment in myself, in my health, in my overall well-being. And so no longer do I have that feeling of like, oh, the grocery bill, it's X amount of dollars. And, oh, that feeling of like money is leaving me and I'm being left without something. And now I feel I'm paying the money, right? And I'm getting a return on the money that I'm investing. And so I think about any of the money that I'm circulating. I always am thinking about it now from that perspective. Same thing with my time. Do I want to be investing my time in this way? And I'm so much more conscious of how I spend all of my minutes. And therefore, of course, both of those things affect my energy, right? Naturally, they're going to affect your energy. So when you're thinking about the three talents, the parable of the three talents, and for those of you not familiar, I'll just give it to you in short. There's the parable of the three talents, and it's the three, we'll just say the three worker bees have come to their master, we'll just say the boss, right? And he's giving out talents. He's giving out something that's equivalent to money. And so he's given them all a certain amount. And one of them goes and basically squanders the money, right? He just goes out and like spends it. And not like in the way that I'm telling you, right? Where it's like this, you're just giving it away. It's just going to whatever sort of desires that he might want, but not necessarily from like a pure desire place, from like I want to just feel good and I'm just going to blow through the money, right? And then the second one spends it, takes the money and squirrels it away is how I think about it, right? So it's like that person that just wants to like save the money, right? You make the money, you bring the money in, you spend like what you need to spend on to cover your bills and live like, we'll just say comfortably. And then you like squirrel the rest away and you kind of have that feeling of like holding on to it. And then the third one actually takes the money, goes out and puts the money to good work, right? Like invests the money in opportunities that are actually going to create a return. Hello, invests, right? The third one is an investor who has the mindset of, let me take what I have received and then let me go out and make good on it, right? Let me go out and bring in more, which is really just such a mind-blowing thing. Again, read this parable 1,000 times, and I haven't read it in a hot minute, so forgive me if I'm not paraphrasing it at the utmost highest. But the essence of it is definitely true. Like I said, I've heard it 1,000 times. If you hear the squeaky noise, I've got one of the puppies in here with me and she has found a ball underneath the couch, apparently. So, all that to say, right? We want to, of course, if you grew up in the church, we want to all be like the third guy, right? We want that essence where we like can get what we receive, right? We take what we have been given and then we make our most good with it. So as you're going about your life to really be starting to up level yourself, even right now, you can start to ask, how am I investing my money, my time, my energy? And am I investing it wisely? Am I investing it consciously? Am I investing it in the things that I truly desire to be investing in? So that brings us to, what I think is an absolute precious opportunity to invest is in this thing that I now get to do with folks, which is coaching, right? And it's really just the way I think about it is I'm just coming alongside of super amazing humans who I love, right? Who I get along with, resonate with, click with, and they resonate and click with me, and we get to go through the journey for a time period together. This journey of life, right? And they see something in me that they want, and they want to be able to up level in some way that I have already been able to do. And they're like, hey, could you help me get where I want to go, right? Like I want to have a successful business of my own, or I want to change jobs, or I want to have financial freedom, or I want to have a much better love in my life, right? I want more love. I want my marriage to be better. I want to be married, or I want better health, right? I just ended up talking to, I had to get my windshield changed out yesterday because a little rock had cracked the windshield. And I ended up in conversation with this Uber driver, and turns out he's a very successful entrepreneur, and was running all different kinds of things and sort of, using Uber to fill in his time and working all the time. And so we got into a really great conversation just about how easy it is to fall into sort of this mindset of like, I got to work, and to make the money. So I ended up in a really good conversation with him about being really conscious of how we're spending our time, our money, our resources to be able to ultimately feel the best in our bodies. And he was sharing with me, disclosed with me some of the health problems that he has had and some of the ways in which even driving for Uber has contributed to his health problems, of course, right? Being sedentary quite a bit. So ultimately investing in your health, because any way in which you're able to up level, and when I say up level, I just mean the concept of thinking smarter, thinking in a way that allows you to live easier, and removing that hustle and the grind and the have tos and the shoulds and the you have tos, right? When we remove all of those trains of thought, which takes a hot minute, that is like the reason you hire a coach, a good coach who helps with transformation, is because those patterns and those ways of thinking are so deeply ingrained in who we are as humans that to actually be able to come over here and make incredibly, radically healthier decisions and decisions that are incredibly in favor of you takes a whole shift in how you think. So my work, right, the work of a coach, whether you were working with me or you're already working with another coach, the true essence of coaching is to help you attain what it is that you want to attain. And for me personally, I want to do things in the easiest way possible, right? Not because I don't love hard work, because that's just like in my DNA. But it's like, I want to do things in a way that feels in my body the most aligned and the most honoring to myself. So like my first 20 years of work, I was working hard and I was working long and I was working stressed. That is not honoring to my body, to my mind, or to my heart, right? It leaves you like exhausted and lacking in a lot of different ways. And the only reason why we work in that way is because we haven't yet figured out how to do it this other easier, restful way. So I'm going to end on that note. If you're interested, if you're like, yes, I want to learn the easier way, and yes, I want to be able to be consciously investing my money where I feel like I'm always getting a return, right? Not just a return if you were to do coaching, right? But getting a return on all of the ways in which you invest your money is, I think, the win-win best scenario. So if you're interested and you're like, yes, I want to be doing this. It's a crazy time of the year. There's like extra spending going on. I don't know if I can do it. Here's the thing. I believe if you have the desire if it's in you and you're like, yes, I want that help, right? I need that help to make the shifts in my own life or in my business that I need to make, the supply is available. The money is available. It may be like, in an account you've said like, oh, I'm never going to touch that. Or it might be through a different channel that maybe you're just not consciously thinking about quite yet. It's not magically per se going to appear at your door to be able to have the money to invest in coaching. But I do believe it's available for you. So if you're willing, right, to do the uncomfortable and decide to invest, for those of you that might be struggling, for those of you that are like, yes, I definitely need this, awesome, go all in. I will, actually, why don't you just reach out to me over Messenger? I was going to drop my link, but I dropped it not that long ago. So I'll just say, send me a private message over Facebook Messenger and we'll start a conversation. Just say, hey, I saw your video and I'm super interested in the work that you're doing with people, helping them live the most free and liberated lives and getting exactly what they desire in their life. And we'll take it from there. All right, you guys, as always, thank you so much for being with me. I love being on the adventure with you. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to drop them here or send me a private message, specific topics that you'd love to hear more about or questions that come up as you're listening to me. Or if you're like, this sounds really good, but definitely send me a message. I'd love to engage. So thanks for spending time with me. And between now and when I see you next, go do that thing you desire to do.